Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial. Today I'm going to be talking about Lucid Group Inc., which as of today is trading under the NASDAQ ticker symbol LCID. This is previously CCIV or Churchhill Capital Investment Group, and what we're going to be focusing on today is, are they a good buy? So overall, I will kind of begin this with, I have hesitations about investing in super hyped up stocks like this, and my analysis today is going to reflect that. That being said, feel free to do your own due diligence and invest as you see fit, because I'm just some guy on YouTube and by no means an investment advisor. The first thing that I'm going to look at today when we look at the historical stock experience for Lucid Group is going to be when they were still a SPAC. You can see they rocketed skyward from that $10 share price when they were announced, all the way up to north of $60 a share, and this was purely based on speculation that they would be forming a merger between Lucid Group as well as Churchhill Capital. You can see following that actual announcement, the stock cratered from north of $60 a share. It was as high as $63.20. To that same week, they actually went down as low as $26.71 before kind of bottoming out over in the May time period of $17.25. If you had purchased that dip, you would be rewarding yourself nicely right now with a more than 50% return, as the stock after hours is currently sitting at $27.25. This is a stock that does have a lot of potential, notably due to the fact that it is in the EV space. We saw some major runs last year from Chinese companies XPeng, NIO, and the like, as well as the entire EV industry in general. Now, one of the stocks or the key leaders here is going to be Tesla. Tesla announced earnings today, and Lucid Group has been known as the next Tesla. And one of the things that was highlighted in the Tesla earnings today, which by and large seemed pretty clean and pretty good from what I was able to look at here after hours, but they highlighted that they have right at 1% market share in Asia, North America, as well as Europe. Now, the reason that I highlight that is because if we go and we look at Tesla, you can actually see that their total market cap is sitting right at $633 billion. So the reason that I highlight that is because they did, as of this quarter, just bring in another $11.2 billion in total revenue, and that equates to about 1% of the total market share across 3 different continents. However, let's go ahead and take a look at Ford, which currently has a market capitalization of $56 billion. And if you look at the trailing 12 months, because they have not announced earnings as of yet, but if you actually look at the trailing 12 months earnings on the graph that I have right here, you're looking at about $120 billion. And those sales are growing from where we saw them as of last year, and they are increasingly being involved in the EV space with their F-150 Lightning set to release in 2023 and the Ford Mach-E, which is currently selling. So the reason why I highlight this is, again, you can see a market capitalization of $56 billion on sales of $120 billion. Tesla has a market capitalization of $660 billion on sales right at of $11.4 billion this quarter, closing in on, we'll call it $45 billion over the trailing 12 months. And then we have our friend Lucid that we are going to be looking at today and have been covering, and they currently have 0 sales because they are currently pre-production. And all of that tied together, they have a market capitalization of $40 billion. So the question here is, are they going to be able to grow and produce enough to warrant such a large market cap, or is there going to be concerns with the companies because they are valued so highly, they are pre-product, and they frankly don't have a large enough client base and build that they're going to be able to support that? The reason why I am so bearish and making commentary like this is due to the fact that the company, again, has such a high valuation, and they don't necessarily have the name brand that is going to warrant such a high valuation. If you look at a Mercedes, if you look at other high-end car manufacturers and providers, they don't necessarily warrant that same type of growth and potential, and they're already well established. So the reason why I highlight that, if you actually look at the company going forward, their income statement, I anticipate we're going to see a lot of this. So you can see their net income in Q1 was negative $872 million. They are bleeding cash. Now, a lot of this is going to be in the R&D. A lot of this is going to be in building the production. But something that I expect that we're going to see going forward, and I'm going to go to balance sheet now, is we're going to see a lot of stock-based compensation. Right now, you can see that total assets are north of $2 billion. I anticipate that we're going to see that value start to decrease pretty rapidly if they can't control that cash burn. The only way that they're going to be able to basically raise money is by issuing additional share, because I don't believe they'll be able to draw on those lines of credit immediately when their stock price is so overvalued. Again, right now they went public at $10 a share. They're over $27 a share at this point in time. So I feel like they could comfortably raise capital at $20 a share, further diluting the stock. So this is all purely based on fundamentals and what normally happens and what may be the smart business decision. But it also is important to note that at the end of the day, this is an EV stock. They can go crazy. So I think that there's a lot of capabilities here from a speculation perspective. However, if I'm looking at the charts and I see the fact that for some reason the stock went all the way up to $60 a share, and at the highs for quite a few weeks being north of $27 a share, you can see here after hours, that is really, really high for a company that's currently not producing anything. And as many of you know, I would much rather invest heavily into companies that are actually producing something, especially when they have the capability to produce this type of stuff at a profit. Meanwhile, when we look at a company like Ford, who's going to be announcing earnings later in August, then I just see so much potential. I mean, you look at some of the valuations associated with stocks like this. They have a PE ratio of 14 compared to Tesla of north of 800, price to sales of 0.442, which is significantly lower, and they're still growing at this point in time. The other thing that I would highlight right here is they're actually profitable, which is something a lot of other car manufacturers are not seeing, and they have the capability to really grow this, especially with their SUV and truck line. So all of this combined with the fact that, hey, at the end of the day, this company has the capability to pay off their debt is something that's incredible, and they can finance further expansion utilizing much lower interest debt, such as revolving lines of credit, which is what they did during the COVID recession that we saw last year. So a lot of this from a fundamentals perspective is a lot more attractive to me, and I don't see Ford failing in the next 5 to 10 years, where I feel like that is a very high possibility with Lucid, and there is a lot of risk there, and I don't see the same level of reward. So let's see that they start producing money. What point do they have to produce to justify a $40 billion valuation? I don't have that number for you right now, because I am very speculative they'll be able to achieve it. But this is really my opinion on the company and the stock. I much rather would see this company where they went public at $10 a share. And I think that if we saw something as simple as an interest rate move north of 25 basis points, you would see the stock go back to that level. Again, all of this is just my opinion. I hope that you found this analysis interesting. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. If you didn't, let me know in the comments below what you disagree with, or feel free to provide some educational feedback for me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.